Selective Faith and the Broken Covenant, Part 9. Taf-seir of Surah Al-Baqarah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence. In our previous session, we concluded with a profound exegesis of the solemn covenant that Allah took from the children of Israel. We saw that this covenant was a beautiful, comprehensive blueprint for a life of spiritual integrity and social justice, encompassing the worship of Allah alone, kindness to parents and kin, speaking good words, and fulfilling the twin pillars of prayer and charity. Today, we will begin to witness the tragic consequences of their rejection of this covenant, as the Quran provides a stark and powerful example of selective faith and spiritual hypocrisy. The verses we will explore serve as a timeless warning against choosing to believe in what is convenient, while rejecting what is challenging. The Quran immediately follows the summary of the covenant with a detailed and harrowing indictment of their actions. And remember when we took your covenant that you would not shed each other's blood or evict one another from your homes. Then you acknowledged it while you were witnesses. Then you are these people, killing one another and evicting a party of your own from their homes, cooperating against them in sin and aggression. And if they come to you as captives, you ransom them, although it was forbidden to you to evict them. So do you believe in part of the scripture and disbelieve in part? And what is the recompense of those who do that among you except disgrace in worldly life? And on the day of resurrection, they will be sent back to the severest of punishment. And Allah is not unaware of what you do. Those are the ones who bought the worldly life with the hereafter, so the punishment will not be lightened for them, nor will they be helped. Quran 2:284. These three verses are a profound and devastating critique. It's a surgical dissection of the hypocrisy and selective obedience that corrupted their spiritual and social fabric. To truly grasp the weight of these verses, we must go beyond a superficial reading and delve into the intricate layers of linguistic, historical, and esoteric meaning. Let us first examine the covenant itself as restated in this verse. The command is twofold. El tasfikna dimnakam, do not shed each other's blood. And El tu Krishna, amfusakam min, di brikam, do not evict one another from your homes. The use of the reflexive pronoun akam your own and infusakam yourselves is critical. It is a powerful linguistic device that treats the community of believers as a single body, a single nafs. When you shed the blood of a fellow believer, you are metaphorically shedding your own blood. When you evict a fellow believer, you are evicting a part of yourself. This is a foundational principle of communal unity in Islam. The Muslim community, the Ummah, is a single spiritual body. Historically, this verse alludes to the pre-Islamic state of the Jewish tribes of Medina. There were two main tribes of the Ansar, Aus and Khazraj, who were in constant conflict. Living alongside them were three main Jewish tribes, Banu Kanuka, Banu Nadir, and Banu Qurayza. These Jewish tribes, instead of remaining a unified community, had aligned themselves with the warring Ansar tribes. Banu Kanuka and Banu Nadir were allies of the Khazraj, while Banu Qurayza were allied with the AWS. When a war broke out between the AWS and the Khazraj, the Jewish tribes would fight alongside their respective allies, literally shedding the blood of their fellow Jews and evicting them from their homes. This was a direct and flagrant violation of their own law. The Torah, like the Quran, forbade the killing of a fellow Jew and their expulsion. Yet they rationalized their actions by claiming allegiance to their Arab allies. The Quran exposes this hypocrisy beautifully. It says, Thumma, Antum, Achiolk, I Takshilena, Anfusikam, Watu Krigna, Farkan, Minkum, Min, Di Ibrahim then. You are these people, killing one another and evicting a party of your own from their homes. This phrase directly confronts them with the reality of their actions, showing how they had shattered the very unity they were commanded to preserve. They were literally killing themselves and evicting themselves by their actions. The verse becomes even more powerful as it exposes their selective obedience. It continues, Wa, in Yatka Masprub, Tuftrum Wa, Hua, Mugaroman, Alikam Akrojuum, and if they come to you as captives, you ransom them, although it was forbidden to you to evict them. This is a masterstroke of divine critique. When the war was over and their fellow Jews became captives, they would then pay a ransom to free them based on the very laws of their scripture that they had just violated. The hypocrisy is twofold. They violated the command against killing and eviction, but then they adhered to the command to ransom the captive. They were willing to spend money to save a life, but were willing to take a life for the sake of an alliance. They had fractured their own law, following what was convenient and ignoring what was inconvenient. The monetary cost of ransoming a captive was small compared to the price of a war with their allies. They chose the worldly political gain over their divine law. This leads us to the heart of the critique, a rhetorical question that cuts to the core of spiritual integrity. Afata mina baiba, oh, alkit bi wa, tak ferna, baiba yin. So, do you believe in part of the scripture and disbelieve in part? This is not merely a question for them. It is a question for every human being in every age. How often do we, too, believe in the parts of our spiritual tradition that are easy or pleasing to us and ignore the parts that are difficult or challenge our worldly interests? We might accept the commands for prayer and fasting, but reject the commands for social justice, truth-telling, or generosity. This is the essence of selective faith. The Quran here is teaching us that faith is a whole, a complete surrender to the divine will. You cannot pick and choose from the divine menu. To accept one part and reject another is to reject the whole, because the source of all of it is the one Allah. The integrity of faith is indivisible. The verse then outlines the terrible consequences of this spiritual hypocrisy. First in this life, and then in the next. Fem di jazu, man yaf, alu, danlika, minkum, il, kaisun, f, al-kadi al-dunyu. And what is the recompense of those who do that among you except disgrace in worldly life? The ultimate consequence of a fractured faith is a fractured reality. The hypocrisy they lived in led to internal conflict, disgrace, and a loss of their dignity as a unified community. Their betrayal of their own sacred law resulted in their ultimate humiliation. This is a profound spiritual law. When a community betrays its core principles, it inevitably falls into disgrace and internal conflict. But the punishment does not end there. The Quran continues, Wa yalma al-qiyamati, yuragdrana, ilch ashadi, al-ladabi, wa mdl, wa vi bignafilan, and on the day of resurrection. They will be sent back to the severest of punishment. Allah is not unaware of what you do. This is a terrifying reminder of ultimate accountability. The worldly disgrace is only a foretaste of the punishment in the hereafter. The phrase, ashadi al-adabi, the severest of punishment, is a powerful final warning. The verse concludes with a reminder of Allah's omniscience. Wa md Allah, ubaigan filan, amen tamalan, and Allah is not unaware of what you do. This is a direct counter to the hypocrite, who thinks their secret machinations and hidden intentions are known only to them. For the Sufi, this phrase is a call to constant inner vigilance, to a state of muraqabah, where one is always aware of the divine presence and that no thought or deed can escape the all-encompassing knowledge of Allah. The final verse of this section provides a powerful summary of their spiritual transaction. Uluika alodna ishta'a okeda al-dunyo bilka kirati falo yukafo fuen hiumu. Allahum yunkarn, those are the ones who bought the worldly life with the hereafter. So the punishment will not be lightened for them, nor will they be helped. This is a profound spiritual analogy of a bad trade. They traded something eternal and infinitely valuable, the hereafter, for something temporary and fleeting worldly alliances, political gain. The price they paid for this bad trade is immense and irreversible. The word ishtaro they bought is a powerful choice, framing their actions not as a simple mistake, but as a deliberate and conscious transaction. And because of this bad trade, their punishment will not be lightened, and no one will come to their aid. This is a powerful final note on the consequences of valuing the fleeting and the temporary over the eternal. My dear viewers, these verses are a profound and sobering lesson in spiritual sincerity. They are a warning against the seductive comfort of selective faith, a comfort that ultimately leads to a fractured heart and a disgraced life. The stories of the children of Israel are not meant to condemn them alone, but to serve as a timeless mirror for us all. We must ask ourselves in our daily lives, am I believing in the entirety of the divine message? Or am I picking and choosing to suit my own ego and worldly desires? Am I trading the hereafter for a small, temporary worldly gain? The path of the muttaqin is one of complete submission, of accepting the divine word as a whole, and of living with an unwavering yak, that Allah is all-knowing and all-just. Join me in our next session as we continue our journey into the succeeding verses of this magnificent surah. Until then, may Allah bless you with ilm and yakin. Assalamu alaikum.